Guys, can you see me? Are we live? Guys, sorry for the delay. There we go. All right, so I don't like driving with that light on. I'll find a different light source. But this is going to be a short stream because we're driving at night. I won't be able to see the chat. But my name is Eric Connor from Planet Earth, and I am on the hunt for the ultra-terrestrials, spirits, ghosts, whatever you want to call them, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, that kind of thing. And I'm on the road to meet up with my friend Alex Bobulinski of the Spectral Wolf Pack, and we're meeting down in Tennessee for Bigfoot Day. And guys, Bigfoot Day is tomorrow and Saturday and Sunday, but Alex and me are going to be there tomorrow and Saturday. Alex is actually speaking tomorrow morning about his Bigfoot research. Yeah, y'all probably can't see me at all, huh? I can't see the chat either. It's so far away. It's so far away. Why are you so far away, guys? Why are you so far away? But yeah, so I just wanted to talk to y'all about a couple of things that have piqued my interest lately, and I will try my best to keep it going. So part of the reason I do this is because there's a handful of news topics that I haven't got to talk about with you guys, and this would be the perfect format for doing so. Just going over some news topics that are probably relevant to our paranormal research and our research in this field, in this study. There's also something kind of controversial I want to talk to y'all about too. Well, one of the people involved is kind of controversial, so I want to talk to y'all about that as well. I've also got some Diet Mountain Dew, if you're wondering. So yes, I've got the Diet Dew, the pork rinds, all the other stuff. But yeah, guys, I have this set up on my other phone, and it lost the event. I'm surprised I was still able to find it. Like it was so weird. The YouTube app crashed, went back into it, and it was like, what live stream? But I was able to find it, connect to it. But yeah, so guys, first, let's start off by talking about that session. That session tonight was that litness. It was that litness. It was ultimate litness. Guys, hey, can you see me okay, or is it too dark? If it's too dark, will you type in caps, too dark? And if it's okay, will you type in caps, okay? But yeah, because I can put like a light on me, like a soft light. Thank you all for being here. But that session earlier where we were talking to Vanessa, that was absolute madness. It was madness. It was incredible. I'm assuming it was Vanessa because of the placement of everything, like because of the EVP recorder, and it even sounded like it said Vanessa a couple times. That moon is right above us right now. It's right above us. It's right above us. All right, I'm seeing okay. I'm seeing okay. All right. So yeah, I'm not going to be able to look at the chat too much. But guys, that session was incredible. Let's start off by saying, when we were doing the EVPs, we started off with the EVP, then we went manual tune, and I asked, I was like, Vanessa, do you want to come with me? And she was like, no. And I was like, wait, did you say you don't want, like, do you want to come with me? And she went, no, again. She said no twice on the manual tune, and then that's when we busted out the EVPs, and she started just talking. What was the first one? There was a couple of those quiet ones that were really clear too. Those were really good EVPs. So guys, if you haven't seen the session from earlier, a couple hours ago, definitely check that out at some point. Maybe not right this moment, but maybe right this moment. I mean, it depends on how you're feeling. Depends on who you are. Depends on what you know. But no, it was really good. It was really good. All right, let's see if I can add a little light without it being overwhelming. Oh, that is bright. That's on the lowest setting too. That looks creepy as all hell, don't it? Hey guys, the session earlier was super lit. It's starting to sound like Joe. It was super lit. It was super awesome. The amount of responses was insane. Guys, we've gone weeks before not getting an EVP in that room, even though we get gateway responses and other stuff. And then some weeks it's only EVP. It's just like constant, absolute constant EVP. But tonight, like, I hope it was Vanessa, but some of those voices, oh yeah, the EVP, that EVP that said, I found you something. It was like, Eric, I found you something. That was incredible. I should have asked what they found. Guys, we can actually do that right now while we're thinking about it. We have the recorder right here. It'll be super noisy, which is how we like it. All the noise. Is that Joe? Is that Truth Paranormal? All right, let's ask. What did you find for me earlier? Way too noisy. We might try earboxing a little bit. But yeah, I should have asked about that during the session. Guys, those EVPs were really good. All right, now that we've got a chunk of the crew here, let's talk about the news. So I've already talked to the Patreon members about this, but I'm going to talk to you guys about it now. So we have, as humanity, like on Earth, we've been receiving radio signals from outer space. Now, I remember as a kid, they always talked about we've never detected one, like we've never gotten one back, even though we've been transmitting TV and radio for so long. But we've actually been receiving what are called fast radio bursts from outer space. These are radio signals that are originating from outer space, and some have been confirmed to originate from outside of the Milky Way galaxy, meaning they're intergalactic. They come from far away. Now, these radio signal bursts from outer space, most of them occur in the ultra high frequency band, which is old TV. That's where TV used to broadcast, was on the ultra high frequency band. Some of them, a couple of them just discovered recently, that have just happened recently, were in the AM band. Like we could actually listen to it on AM, which is some of them are so low that we can actually tune to them with the, not AM, but with those portable TVs. We can actually listen for those signals with the portable TVs that used to use the UHF ultra high frequency. Basically from 400 megahertz to 900 megahertz is the range that these radio signals from space are coming from, which is all in the ultra high frequency band, not in the AM. That's what I originally thought, but it's all ultra high frequency. But basically, they've discovered, now that they've been using multiple radar dishes, multiple satellites, they've discovered that a radio signal from outer space is hitting the Earth on average once every 10 seconds. And we'll be able to detect all of them once there's enough radar units and satellite units lined up across the globe. But as of now, they're detecting a lot more, and they're detecting them in real time, meaning that there are certain labs and certain spots and observatories that are literally detecting radio signals from space in real time as they happen. And to top it all off, there's one signal that has repeated 34 times over the past 12 years. Over the past 11 years. So there has been a signal coming from deep space that has repeated and reached our planet in the same form and fashion over 34 times over 11 years. I think it's right at 34 times. And they've been able to determine the location, and the location of it hasn't moved. So there's multiple theories on this, and in one of the Patreon videos we asked the spirits what they think, and I'll tell you what they said here in just a second. But there's multiple theories. One theory is that it is a civilization attempting to reach us or anybody else in the cosmos, and that might be because they're in distress. Something bad might have happened. It might be a form of SOS, but it's a possibility. Now, there was literally a think tank that was put together to examine the idea of alien species sending out a large radio burst like that and why they would do it. They were trying to find out motive. So all these different professors and just really smart people got together in this think tank, and they were trying to come up with a motive of why an alien civilization would send a signal out to infinite space just for anyone to receive. And they couldn't come up with a good reason on why they would do it on purpose, unless they were in distress. So I find that pretty interesting. It could also easily be a trap. It could be a trap for, like, they might be a hostile race sending out a signal to see if anyone's dumb enough to, like, respond back and tell them where they're at. You know, I mean, there's a lot of different theories. But the other theory, this one that I'm about to tell you right now, is much more plausible, probable, and very cool. The current theory, there's a professor at Cornell University and a professor at Santa Barbara, and they've gotten together to show people that those bursts, those fast radio bursts coming from space, could actually be an artifact from a propulsion system or an energy system, where there is a mechanism, there is an object in space twice the size of Earth that's absorbing the energy from a nearby star, and it builds that energy up, and then it shoots it into something real quick, like a spaceship. And when it does this, when it shoots that energy out, it creates a pulse, and that pulse goes on forever in space, and we can detect it. And what's crazy is it sounds like science fiction. However, NASA's actually been working on a propulsion system based on this very principle, however, on a much smaller scale. So the one NASA's been working on is actually a very tiny version that harnesses the sun's energy, and then it shoots a laser onto this it's basically like a ball with 4 electromagnetic wind sails, and it's pretty small for a spacecraft. It's still big compared to like cars and stuff. It's pretty big, but it's small compared to a spacecraft. But with the current technology that they have and that they've been experimenting with, they can get this little wind sail spaceship device to Mars in 3 days with the technology we have, with a tiny version of this. So imagine it on a scale where the device is as large as a planet twice the size of ours. So twice the size of Earth. It gathers a ton of energy and then injects it into a spacecraft or some type of power device. And that's the current theory. Now, these professors proposed this paper to show the people studying these radio bursts what to look for in these bursts to see if they are actually from an intelligent race that's doing this or not. And so they set up parameters for future fast radio signals to go by to see if they are a propulsion system or if they are for something else. So that's all the really cool theories about what these radio signals are. There's other theories that aren't as cool. Like there's one that talks about a magnetostar. Well, I think it's a magnestar, actually, is how it's pronounced, or something like that. Where basically it's a theoretical sun, or it's a theoretical star that is magnetized, and it randomly shoots out these radio bursts every now and then, specifically if it gets close to a black hole. And again, that's all hypothetical, theoretical, that's all not proven. But I think the alien stuff is far more likely, especially with the signal that it's called FRB, like 1211 or 121102. I can't remember exactly, or 211202. It might be that. I can't remember exactly the full scientific name for it, but what it comes down to is signals from outer space that most likely come from intelligence are reaching the planet, and we are able to discern them. What's really crazy is it is possible to extract audio from these bursts. However, the bursts only last a couple milliseconds to a fraction of a millisecond. Like, the longest burst is only a few milliseconds long. Gotta get some Diet Dew here, y'all. Gotta get some of that Diet Dew. But what I would like to do is I would like to get the raw sampling data from these fast radio bursts, and I would like to bring them down into a frequency that's audible to our ears, and then slow it down to like 200th of the speed. And I would want the data at a super high sample rate so we can slow it down that far. Diet Mountain Dew is good, y'all. let me tell you something. This diet do is really good. All right, so that's one thing that's been going on, and I have a theory that whenever those signals hit the planet, especially the really big ones, I have a feeling that that's some connection, these signals. And just like John Keel used to talk about, he believed that all of the paranormal events and happenings were connected by the super spectrum, and that they were all under the class of ultra-terrestrials. Like whether they're aliens, Bigfoot, or spirit, they are ultra, which isn't that far out there. It's pretty good. It's pretty solid research. Oh crap, I just realized the speed limit was something different than I thought it was. Wow, we've been living on the edge, y'all. We've been living on the edge. All right, let me slow it up here real quick. Let me slow it up. It's weird though, everyone else is going super fast. Makes me wonder. Alright, so we talked about the fast radio burst, the signals from outer space. I do believe that whenever those signals hit, whenever they hit the Earth, that activity could be heightened, it could be increased. Now, moving on to the next thing that is similar, to that. Geez, it just left my mind. I was about to spill the beans. There's another. Man, everyone's going way fast for that. That's crazy. Guys, the next topic just literally slipped right out of my mind. Thinking about it. The fast radio burst. Oh yeah, boom, here it is. So the Sunspot Observatory. Have y'all heard about this? Now this is pretty old. This is weeks old at this point. But there's an observatory out west in the United States that's been monitoring the sun for ages, for decades. And it's always had a live webcam attached to it as well. Well, a couple weeks ago, the observatory was evacuated. The town that the observatory sits in was evacuated, the entire town, and the webcams were taken offline. Now, the day that the observatory was evacuated, there were military helicopters and military air vehicles flown in to the observatory, and days later, like they had the town evacuated for a week straight. So with the Sunspot Observatory evacuated, there were some videos and images of what looks like government officials walking around the observatory, and there's actually photos of a guy looking on the back of one of the cell towers, one of the antenna towers, and it was like he's looking for something or he was messing with something. And they didn't say anything for weeks. They just said nothing at all about why they closed it down and why they evacuated the town. So people were thinking that it was a biological issue, like it was a biological disease, or like there was some kind of outbreak or something like that. When this happens, 6 other observatories that monitor the sun from across the globe were also shut down. Their live feeds were taken offline. No access to the public. No one can see these live feeds. No one can see live streams of the sun at all at this point when this happens. Now, eventually, weeks later, they allow people back in. They allow people back into the town. And eventually they say that the reason that they did all this, the reason they flew in the military, the reason they evacuated the observatory in the town, the reason they took all the live feeds offline, blocked everyone from viewing the sun and from viewing outer space, they say that there was graphic underage material on a monitor at the Sunspot Observatory. It was literally, they said someone reported seeing graphic underage material on a monitor there, and that's why they shut it down and did all that and evacuated the town and checked the cell towers for bugs or planted something on them. Like, it's obviously a terrible cover story, and I think it's terrible on purpose. Like, it doesn't make sense. There's no there. They even said that there was no evidence of such that they had found. Like, it's just absolutely, it's like a blatantly bad cover up. So that happens. The observatories are offline. Then the Hubble telescope has gone offline. I'm sure y'all heard about that. The Hubble telescope, which we've been relying on for decades, for a long time, the Hubble telescope is offline. There's another satellite, believed by the Chinese, that has also gone offline. And there was another satellite that had been actually seen the secure team. If you've seen the secure team video, then you've seen that satellite. It looks like it gets taken out. It looks like it breaks apart. It like splits in two. But yeah, so there's a whole bunch of stuff that with outer space that's being messed with. Both Mars rover, the rover and Curiosity, are both out of commission. So everything we got on Mars is not working. We're not receiving any data from the rovers that we have on Mars. There was also a launch to the International Space Station that didn't make it to the space station. They got about halfway there, or not even halfway there. They got up into the sky, and then all of a sudden, you can see on the video, they released the video of it, the rocket starts shaking violently. And luckily, they were able to land the rocket. No one got hurt, even though there was a big malfunction, but no one got hurt. But they weren't able to make it to the space station. And all of this is happening within a span of about 14 to 17 days. And a lot of people are starting to get curious. Plus, I'm sure you all have seen the footage from China. The absolute crazy footage from China. It looks like China's version of a SpaceX launch, but it looks way different than the one that happened in LA. This one has this crazy like circular spiral pattern. It looks unreal. It don't look like the rocket launch to me. Like, I highly suggest checking that footage out. Of course, they're claiming it was a satellite launch using a SpaceX style rocket. I don't believe it for a second. Like, it just looks absolutely crazy, and it looks like the LA space launch. It does, or SpaceX launch. It looks similar to that, but it's distinctly different. So we have China sending up something into space, and they're not confirming if it got there successfully, what it was, what the payload was. They're not releasing any details on that. We had the people that were going to the International Space Station, their rocket malfunctions while in the air on the way to the space station. Luckily, everyone survived. They were able to bring the rocket back down, they were able to detach the pod that they were in, and no one got hurt, which was really good. But they didn't make it to space. The Hubble telescope's offline. There's another satellite that's offline. There's a satellite that looks like it got blown up while it was being monitored by this company that monitors satellites via video in outer space. It looks like it gets blown up. And to top it all off, the Sunspot Observatory got closed down. The whole town was evacuated, and six other live webcams that went to the sun and outer space were taken down at the same time. So guys, to me, that sounds like a cover-up. That sounds like a blackout. That sounds like something shifty is going on behind the scenes. There were rumors with YouTube crashing yesterday. I'm sure everyone is aware that YouTube was down for a solid hour. Some people were reporting 2 hours, but for me, it was down for literally 60 minutes, maybe a little over 60 minutes. And it's incredible. YouTube is owned by Google. Google's one of the biggest companies or conglomerates in the entire world, on the entire planet. And YouTube was down for an entire hour. Now, the biggest rumor, I'm sure y'all heard this, the biggest rumor is that a video that was on trending that had a few 100,000 views, like 400,000 views, a video on trending was the reason that YouTube was taken down. And it was a video of a man in a suit. People were saying it looked like military or something like that. A man in some kind of uniform was on camera, and he was speaking, and he was saying that something is about to hit the moon. And everyone claims that it was super serious video. This guy saying something's literally about to hit the moon. It seemed like some type of official that was giving some kind of really serious report. Now, that video has yet to surface, or any video like it has yet to surface. And it hasn't reappeared on any other platforms, which makes me think that it's just a rumor. However, things with the moon, the past few days, people have been talking about things with the moon. There's been numerous UFO sightings around the moon, and guys, people will always be like, it's just satellites. When you see a satellite versus a UFO, like when you see astronomers looking at the moon through their high-powered telescopes with the video, you can tell the difference plain as day. There's definitely something going on at the moon. There's a spot on the moon that's been monitored for about 50 years, or it's been actively reported on by NASA with the past 50 years, but for thousands of years, astronomers have been looking at, ever since there was astronomers, ever since there were telescopes, they've been studying. Puts out bright flashes of light, mainly green, but reports of like blue, red, yellow. But there's a spot on the moon that flashes green and different colors pretty often. There's tons and tons of reports of this. NASA has an official report of these flashes on the moon in the NASA documents. You can look at it online. It was called Project something. I can't remember what it was called. But the moon is not what we think it is. NASA proved that the moon was hollow and that it rings like a bell. And that's all public knowledge too. That's not hidden knowledge. That's not secret. That's not conspiracy. NASA was able to prove that the moon is hollow. And we are the only planet in the entire known universe that has a moon to planet ratio of ours, and the only one where the moon stays facing us from one side the whole time. There's, to my knowledge, at least, that last part, I'm pretty sure that's right. We definitely are the only one that have a setup that we know of, a setup where the moon is as, I find it very fascinating that the sun is 40 times bigger than the moon, exactly 40 times bigger than the moon, and it's exactly 40 times further away than the moon is from us. So just think about that for a second. The moon is exactly 40 times smaller than the sun. So if you multiplied the moon by 40, it'd be as big as the sun. And it's exactly 40 times further away from the Earth. The sun is exactly 40 times further away from the Earth than the moon is. And that just happened to be. That just happened to come out like that. And that's why we have eclipses, solar eclipses, and just something to think about. There is a YouTube channel that got taken down that was doing moon videos where they had their high-powered telescope recording on the moon, and they would post crazy videos. And that channel got taken down from YouTube for, and they always say the same thing, various terms of service violations. But my whole point here, let me try to bring it back. My whole point, when we're talking about outer space, it has a big effect on, I believe it has a big effect on the spirit realm, and the spirits seem aware of outer space and what's happening with it. Some spirits in particular, not all, but some that we talk to seem to have a keen understanding of outer space. For instance, in the Patreon restream that we released, not yesterday, but last week, the short, like, minute one, at one point I asked, are these fast radio bursts alien civilizations trying to reach us, or is it them using some kind of propulsion technology? And clear as day, through the manual tuner, the spirit goes, both, like super loud. Now, some people will say that kind of thing is PK, like you're the one causing the responses to happen. But either way, it was just loud, clear, direct, immediate. I think the spirits have a very vested interest in outer space, and I think it has something to do with the veil. I think what happens in outer space affects the veil between us and the spirit world, for sure. Like, I think that without a doubt. Alright guys, I want to get to the controversial topic I was talking about. There is as you all know, Elon Musk went on the Joe Rogan podcast, and he said some really cool stuff. That's the podcast where he puffed on the blunt. He did not hit the blunt, like you can clearly tell. He puffs it with no intention of inhaling, and people lost their minds. But Guys, I love Elon Musk. He is definitely one of my heroes. As you all know, like, I'm obsessed with Nikola Tesla. I absolutely love Nikola Tesla. And Elon Musk is as close as we'll ever get to a modern day Tesla, probably in our lifetime. At least that's the way it looks. Like, Elon Musk is truly amazing. Check out his research. Check out the man. But here's the thing. Elon Musk is a smart mofo. He's a smart guy. He doesn't mess around with conspiracy theories. You know, he's got a rocket company that launches rockets into space for different world governments. Like, he's not messing around. Musk believes in the simulation theory. He believes in the AI singularity occurring sooner than later. He believes in a lot of stuff that for a long time people would call you a conspiracy nut job. Elon Musk believes this wholeheartedly, and he believes, so in that podcast he talks about that most likely, if we are to assume any improvement of technology over time, any improvement, then we can assume that there is a high probability that we are in a simulation. He said that the chance that this is base reality, like this is actual base reality with nothing underneath, he said that that's 1 in millions, if not billions. So he truly believes we're living in a simulation. Now, he was explaining this in a sense that there are layers to the simulation, and he believes that original base reality runs on what he calls a substrate. It's the very basic mechanics of existence. It's like the very basics of like consciousness, of reality, of matter. Like there's not a whole lot going on there. It's really just like raw material. And he thinks that over time, with improvements in technology, whatnot, the substrate was able to build a more enticing and self-aware version of reality, which is our reality. And so what it's done is it's like distilled the essence of what it's made out of into this reality, and then we're going to do the same thing. Essentially, we're going to keep improving our technology, get it better and better, and then eventually we will make our own simulation of reality, which we'll try to improve upon and make better and better. But Musk believes that it is more likely that we're in a simulation than in a base reality, and he believes that wholeheartedly. He also believes that AI is inevitable and there's nothing you can do to stop it. He literally said he spent years trying to get people to slow down their research. He spent years petitioning politicians, governors. He met with Barack Obama while he was president for only one reason, and that was to talk about artificial intelligence, and to urge him to make a committee that has some kind of oversight into the creation of it. Because here's the thing, artificial intelligence by itself isn't bad. It's who gets a hold of it and what it's programmed to do, say, or love, or think. So you might create a super artificial intelligence that has all the best intentions at heart and is helping us, but then if someone hijacks it, if someone steals it, if someone puts corrupted data or bad data or the data about life that it doesn't need to know, like, it could really, really, really be bad. Once you make something that is far more intelligent than you, then you can no longer control it at all. For instance, think about this. Think about how we are compared to certain animals, like lions and tigers and bears. Physically, they could rip us to shreds, but what we decide to do affects their lives in a huge way. We could easily decide to wipe them out or to give them prosperity and give them a huge, wonderful life. We have that ability because of our intelligence, because of how we think. When artificial superintelligence is created and implemented, it will be something so far beyond where we are that it'll be like we are the animals and it's the intelligent being. And it's scary to think about, especially if there's no oversight, regulation. Now here's where we go down the rabbit hole. So let's just recap what Elon Musk believes. He believes that most likely we are in a simulation reality, and it's running off of what he called a substrate, a sub-reality that's made up of the very basics of reality. It's super boring and slow. There's probably no intricate details to it. It's probably like raw consciousness, raw material, and that kind of thing. And then it's condensed down into this simulation to make it more exciting, more self-aware, more critical thinking. So that's what he believes. There's layers of it. And then he also believes that eventually we will, best case scenario, we will merge with artificial intelligence, and that could possibly take us to the next level, either of simulation or reality, or however you want to look at it. And so he believes in the substrate, the simulation reality that we're in, and the advancement of AI to where hopefully we can merge with it and not be destroyed by it, and then that would lead to the new reality. Now, here's where we bring in Alex Jones. I know I don't want y'all talking about him in the chat because it'll just be a total crap storm, okay? But here's what Alex Jones believes. Alex Jones believes that we exist on levels, and he believes they're more of like levels of reality, but levels of consciousness. Either way, he believes that we are not the base reality either. He believes there's a subterranean world where the big forces of good and evil reside, and of consciousness resides, and that's where like the power is. And then in our reality, in the simulation, if you will, there are groups of elites that are working to finish this AI, because one group, the evil group who's banded together, they want to transcend reality. They want to transcend being human. They think being human is bad, and they've given in all their beliefs and values to the beings of evil, the beings that have promised them, the world, and given it to them. And he believes that they are going to attempt to use AI to escape to the next level, the next simulation, the next reality, and sacrifice this world in order to do it. So what's crazy is Alex Jones believes in the basic concept that Elon Musk does. They believe in that same concept. But Alex Jones brings in the spiritual side, talking about the elites want to create this artificial intelligence, sacrifice the planet, and get to the next stage because they hate humanity. And that's his theory. I don't know if he's got any data to support that or whatnot. But what blows my mind is how similar their theories and their thinking and beliefs are up to that point. Like, the very base of what they both think is the same. They think that there is a subterranean reality, and then we're created on top of it, simulation, and then the elites, a simulation as real as this, and that simulation would be a third layer on top of it. And of course, in that simulation, we would condense down the boring parts of life. We make it more flashy, more exciting, more entertaining. Because I find it fascinating. I do believe that there is a pull of good and evil, and I do believe that people who are on the side of evil tend to team up, especially if they've got the same evil intentions in mind, because it's a thing of greed. They want more power, they want more control, and to get what they want, they're willing to team up with other people who are like-minded to get it. Now, people who are on the side of good, usually they don't feel a strong need or desire to team up. They would rather people be self-empowered and work towards what they want. They might team up for various different reasons, for various small gains, but I believe that underneath that, though, there is a good and evil force behind our existence, under our world, that pulls at all of us day by day. And the evil force is coming scary close to making something real terrifying happen. However, once evil gets to a point where it finally comes out of the shadows, rears its ugly head, and shows its true nature, that's when all the good in the world does decide to come together and team up and then take it on. And good, as long as history is concerned, good always trumps evil in the long run. The thing with evil, though, is that it's always there. It's in the shadows. Like, it takes energy to produce light. It takes energy to put out, any kind of positive emotion or any kind, like, light takes energy. As soon as that light goes away, though, there's the shadows, there's the darkness, and that's where evil lies. Evil's not strong, but it's always there, and when you are the weakest is when that evil will be able to seep in and cause damage and wreak havoc. And that's the way it is with existence, with the world. Like, whenever we're not looking, whenever we let our guard down, whenever we're not being as positive as we can be, whenever we're not helping out as much as we can be or contributing as much, and that's when that evil creeps in. That's when it seeps in and starts wreaking havoc. Woo! Okay, that's my little rant. So, guys, I hope you're not fighting about Alex flipping Jones, but I feel bad for the guy because the way he handles himself, he makes himself seem crazy, and he's super passionate. Like, and you got to admire that kind of passion and fire and drive in anyone for any reason. But he just kind of makes himself seem crazy. But Elon Musk, the way he handles himself, the way he thinks and processes things, just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Some people pass me here. So guys, all right, that was my little rant. There was one more news topic I wanted to talk about. Wow, I drank way too much of this Mountain Dew. I'm trying to make this whole drive in one straight trip. I got all the snacks and drinks, but I already kind of feel like I might have to pee, and I'm not even a quarter of the way there yet. But yeah, so tonight, obviously I'm going to be late. I'm going to be very, very late, and so when I do start live streaming, it'll probably be like midnight, 1 a.m. Midnight if I'm lucky. Like, excuse me. It'll most likely be 1 a.m. Shouldn't have. All right. 12 miles till the next turn. But yeah, so guys, I am excited to check out the Gateway. I am going to be live streaming no matter what. Even if it's just a short little session, you better believe that your boy's going to be live streaming. I'm also going to have all the gear set up. I'm going to have the SLS. I'm going to have the new gateway, the floating UFO gateway. I'm going to have the REM pods, EVP recorder, of course. It's going to be ultra lit. And hopefully, I'm so late that Alex might have to be asleep by the time I get there, which would suck. But hopefully he'll stay up and hang out for a little bit. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. That would be that litness. Oh yeah, guys. There's been so many weird UFO sightings and strange sky sightings. Like just weird stuff in the sky. My boy Tyler over at Secure Team put out a video that shows like 8 or 9 different UFO clips and light anomaly clips that happened in the skies. All of them in super high quality. One of them is over Turkey. I think it's Turkey. And it shows this UFO looking craft, and it's causing the sky to glitch out. It looks like this craft might have a cloaking device malfunctioning, and it's causing these like black bits, and like it just looks so insane. It's crazy. And it looks like genuine cell phone footage, like it like recorded from a cell phone, from the rear camera, the good camera. It looks absolutely insane. Guys, do you think UFO activity has any effect on spirit activity? Do you think UFOs or aliens or anything like that has any effect on the veil or spirits and their ability to come through? Personally, I believe it's entirely possible, and that it does. Is that Dawn Searching Truth? I can't tell. I can't even read from here. Dawn Searching Truth. Is that Rosemary Jane? I can tell by that icon, the profile pic. Is that G-Man? What's up, G-Man? Oh, yeah. I forgot to mention this. This should have went in earlier with what we were talking about. But lately, especially specifically today on the FM band, on the frequency modulation band of radio waves, there is a loud noise coming through from the 60 FM portion all the way up to about 76 FM. Now, in the United States, those are all empty frequencies. We don't use those frequencies for radio broadcasting, at least not commercially or publicly. But there are some strange signals coming through on those frequencies here in the US. Now, what's even crazier is that these signals aren't just coming through here in the United States. Jane from Paranormal Voice reported to me, like on the live stream earlier, that they were getting the same exact noises coming through over in the UK, which means whatever's broadcasting that signal, that tone that we kept getting, it's broadcasting it globally, all over the world. That's freaky to think about. Also, if you turn on AM, I don't know what it's like for you guys, but AM, the amplitude modulation section of radio waves, it is noisy as all heck. There is so much noise in the AM band. Some stations back in central Kentucky won't even come in. It's just tons of noise and you can barely hear the station. There is something within that frequency range that's just constantly just distorting everything that's on it. So what that tells me is there is something going on with frequency waves, and we have no idea what it is. We don't know if it's like a continuous solar storm. We don't know if the magnetic poles are shifting. We don't know if the part of the atmosphere has been obliterated and this is the after effects of it, or if there's something that they're trying to do in space that's beneficial and they're just not telling us, and it's causing all these reactions. Or it could be the residual imprints, or not residual, the harmonic imprints from some type of high-powered, high-bandwidth weapon or laser, and it's reverberating all the way down into radio waves. I don't know. This is all just speculation, but there's definitely something going on. I'm 100% certain of it. Yeah, there's just no way that it's all a coincidence. Everything we've talked about tonight, any researcher who's been researching long enough knows that there's no such thing as coincidences. There isn't. Everything at least means something. There's at least some type of meaning, direction, purpose. At the very least, most of the time, it's an actual connection. So guys, that's everything that I planned on talking about, but we're going to go off the rails here a little bit and just talk a little more about a little bit of everything, all right? So I want to get to at least an hour, hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours on this, because then I'll be halfway through the drive, and then I'll just have 2 hours to go. And talking to you guys, like, whenever you guys are here, like, it makes the drive so much better, so much faster, so much stronger. It makes it very nice. It makes it very, very nice. So guys, if you're wondering what I got packed with me, I'm on the ketogenic diet. So I've got I got some sausage sticks, I've got some beef sticks, I got some beef bites, I got some pork rinds. Also, there's a bunch of sweets that you can have on the ketogenic diet. They're just non-sugar. They're made out of different things. And so I got a bunch of those. There is, I think I brought the ghee butter just because it's good on everything. I got my pecans. Guys, if you go keto, you got to get some pecans. I got some walnuts. But yeah, besides that, we got the Diet Dew. We got the water. We got the whole setup. Here's one thing I'm very interested in. Guys, have you all seen Alex from the Spectral Wolfpack? Tell me now, have you seen him tonight? Is he posting on social media? Is he live right now? If so, someone's got to tell him that his boy, that Epic, is going to be there in about 3 hours. Well, no. 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours. That's what I'm talking about. I wonder what he's doing. Guys, if you don't believe in UFOs, I understand. There is a documentary that I want everyone to see. And so this documentary that I'm about to tell you has some of the most compelling evidence of not only UFOs,
take exit 29 for US 25 East toward Corbin.
not only UFOs, but also conspiracies, cover-ups. Like this is a documentary that I highly recommend, and it's on Netflix. It's a documentary by Dr. Stephen Greer, the Dr. Stephen Greer, and it's called Unacknowledged. It's Unacknowledged. I highly recommend everyone watch it, especially my epic researchers. Epic researchers, as soon as I watched it, I thought of you all immediately. So I highly suggest everyone watch it. And I'm sure some of you have had encounters with UFOs. I'd like to share mine, at least my first one, and things that would happen to me when I was a kid. All right, let's start off. When I was a kid, I didn't remember anything at all until I was 4 years old. And that's not super uncommon, but I don't have any memories until I'm 4 years old living in a certain house. And it's really weird. Like one day I just woke up on the couch and I started remembering, like from that point on. And I freaked out because I couldn't remember anything that had just happened. I had no idea like where we were, what we were doing, what day it was, like no idea at all.
In half a mile,
But
take exit 29 for US 25 East toward Corbin.
exit 29. In that same house I'm talking about, I would have these dreams where like as I'm falling asleep, I would be picked up out of bed, like either by my head or by my foot, and then drug up to the ceiling of the room, like drug upwards. And sometimes I would just be picked up like just flat and just be floating above my bed. And that happened all the time. And I just assumed that it was part of falling asleep. Like
Use the left 2 lanes
it got to the point where
Cumberland Gap Parkway, US 25
wait, what?
East South.
Are we going left or right? All right, we're going left. All right.
Use the left 2 lanes to turn left onto Cumberland Gap Parkway, US 25 East South.
All right. So yeah, always had the sensation of being pulled up and out of bed, like floating up. And around that time is when I started, I had a TV in my room. I'd bring a little radio up there, and what I would do is I'd turn the TV on static, I'd have the radio on, and I had a little whiteboard, and I would scan through the radio channels on AM and really freak myself out because all the noise on AM sounds super spooky, especially when you're a kid and it's like 10 o'clock at night and it's dark outside and you're in your room by yourself. How long? So yeah, I'd freak myself out doing that, and what I told myself I was doing is contacting aliens. So I had the TV on static, I'd be sweeping through the AM bands real slow, and I would imagining myself as like a scientist contacting aliens, and then I'd write stuff on the whiteboard. And I did that for a long time. Now let's fast forward a couple of years. So eventually I grew out of that. Me and my friends got into wrestling, and we were all the time wrestling each other and like jumping off of like roofs and cars and stuff and like elbowing each other and like Stone Cold Stunner and Hurricanrana. We were all over it. We were all over it. I was a big kid. I was pretty chubby, but I could move. But yeah, so we got more into that. On the exact day of 5th grade graduation, we all went back to my house. It was 5th grade graduation for Bobby, Brandon, Zach, and me. And then our friends, Nick and Jesse, they were younger than us, but it was still last day of school. And so after the graduation and everything, we go back to my house. Pops is grilling out like hot dogs and hamburgers. We had the pool. We were wrestling. And it was just a great time. And then once the sun had set, we took a break from wrestling, and Bobby and me get up on the Bronco. And the Bronco's in the backyard. It's this old truck, and it in years, thinking about the long summer ahead of us. And as we're sitting there, over the horizon, the valley kind of like dipped down, and then you can see the roofs of houses, and all of a sudden we see this orange glowing orb, like oblong orb, glowing at the very edge of like the tree line and the roof line. like way in the distance, and then it starts rising up. It starts lifting up, and granted, it's lifting up super slow, so slow that for some reason in my mind I'm thinking it's gonna like disappear, and it's like something attached to a blimp or a plane. Like, I couldn't figure out what I was looking at, so we keep staring at it, and it keeps rising up into the sky, this orange oblong disc. Like, it was glowing, like it almost looked like, you know, when something's so hot, like when they're making swords and stuff, that it's like that orange, that neon looking super bright vivid orange. It was like that, and it was rising up super slow, just slower and slower, rising up higher and higher in the air. And everyone at this point in the backyard's looking at it, and we're like, what are we looking at? Like, what is this? And eventually it gets to the point where it's like, it gets like way up high in the sky. Like, I'd say, well, maybe not way up, maybe like, maybe like 200 feet. So, I mean, it's up there. It's hard to tell from the distance we were at, but it raises way up high in the sky, and then it stops, and it just sits there. There's nothing around it. It sits there for at least 5 seconds, and then it literally shoots off, like, kind of in our direction, like diagonally to the left of us, and it just shoots off lightning fast and is gone. Gone. Like, absolutely insane. And it was one of those UFO sightings where it wasn't like, you know, what is that thing? Like, do you see that tiny little thing? It's like, oh, I kind of see it. No, this was bright, oblong, orange, glowing, slowly rising through the air, and then shot off like so fast. It was insane, absolutely insane. But anyways, after that, a few years after that, actually, let's see, yeah, I'd say a year after that is when I started, at night I started having night terrors, like actual night terrors and sleep paralysis. And a lot of times what would happen is I would see, like the very first time it ever happened, I was falling asleep, and then I was woken up by two shadows, and they were poking me and tickling me, and I kept like twitching and being like, stop it. And each of the shadows had voices. Like, one voice they were each girls in my class, like their voices, but they were off. It wasn't like perfect replications of their voices, but it was so close that I assumed that it was them. Like, and I was friends with these girls, and in my mind it was like totally normal for them to be in my bed, like tickling me in the middle of the night, waking me up. Like, I didn't put it together that it was two shadow manifestations, and they sounded off, and they were messing with me while I was sleeping. That was the first experience I had. Then I started, what would happen is I would hear the radio. I'd hear a radio turn on in the house, and back then I didn't know nothing about the paranormal, so I'd get up and go look for it. I'd get up and go look for the radio. And what would happen is, like, as I would get out of my room, I would hear it louder for a second, and then as I'm getting closer to where I think it is, it starts fading out. No radio to be found. That started happening a lot. Then I started seeing the light, like, outside my window. I would see a light. Oh man, I just had a dream about this, and it just hit me. Oh my god. I had a dream recently about being in that room, and oh man. Oh, that just messed me up. Alright, yeah, so I would see this light come by. I'd see it come to the window, and once I'd illuminated the whole window, I would fall asleep. Like, every time, I never knew what happened after that, and it happened pretty consistently. I'd say it would happen at least once every 2 weeks, if not 2 or 3 times. That happened a lot. That happened a whole lot for a period about probably 6 to 8 months. No, maybe longer. Maybe it was the whole. No, yeah, that was the whole time I was a freshman, because then I went to the hospital. But yeah, it was freaky. It was super freaky. During the time where the lights would come to the window and it would white it all out, and then I would wake up the next day, one of the dreams I had, and this is pretty intense, and this I believe was direct, intelligent interaction with beings that exist beyond our. Whoa, that was a freaking bottle rolling in the road. That was dangerous. It was my friend Bobby, and we were in the house, and outside it was super cloudy, and then it starts storming. It starts storming real bad, and we look out there and we see a tornado in the distance, and it's coming right towards us. It's like coming right at us. And so we freak out, of course. We absolutely freak out. So what we do is we go to the closet that's in the middle of the house, and we go there, similar to my house now, very similar to that. We go to that closet and we wait there, and we wait, and then the tornado hits, and like you can hear all the craziness. And when we come out of the closet after the tornado hit, it was dark outside. It went from being like stormy daytime to dark. It was night. And so we go out back, and I'm walking out back, and we see 2 UFOs in the sky. We see 2 craft in the sky. And it's weird because as soon as I saw them, I felt like they noticed me. Like I felt like they noticed me immediately. And they were aware that I was looking at them, and they came over. And then this is where it gets crazy. What I'm about to talk about next impacted me for several years, and it still messes with me because of the intensity of it. The crafts come right over the backyard, and they're hovering above the backyard, probably at a distance of like 20 feet. Like you could literally throw a ball and hit the craft. So they're hovering there, and I'm just like so amazed and bewildered. I'm like, I can't believe that what I'm seeing. And these almost invisible rays of light come out of the bottoms of each of them. And as it happens, 2 aliens start coming down one out of each spaceship. They're completely invisible, yet I know that they're there 1000%. Like I can perceive them even though they're invisible. I could perceive them entirely. And so I watched them coming down out of the craft, and I could feel them engaging me. I could feel engagement coming from them directly through my body and through my brain. And they got to the ground, and I could tell that they were shorter, and they started talking in my head. They didn't speak out loud or anything like that. They started talking inside of my brain, and I could hear them clear as day. And it almost made it feel like talking like this is like dirty or not pure. Like talking like this is not pure. What is this person doing? Maybe I should have passed them a while ago. But because like their communication to me was so crisp and precise and clear and clean that I couldn't believe it. And I didn't feel like I was worried about like, you know, the privacy aspect and like my thoughts. And they were like, you don't have to worry about that. That's not how it works. The way they talked though, like they didn't talk like that at all. They talked very, very, very concise, very clean, very direct. Their language, their matter of language, the way they used English, it was a style of English that I've never heard anyone speak. Every word they spoke was spoken with such accuracy and precision, yet instead of it seeming like a robot, you know, like those freaking videos that are narrated by the voice robots, instead of it sounding like a voice robot, it felt 100% genuine and pure, and they just spoke directly to me. Oh man, and they told me all kinds of stuff, and guys, for the life of me, I can't remember a single thing they told me, like exactly. In this moment, I can't remember any of it, but. And the dream ends there, like they were talking to me, and then I woke up. Like it was so intense. It was so intense, guys. Have you all ever had dreams where you've encountered aliens in the dream, or where you've talked to any kind of extraterrestrial creature? Let me know, guys, and I'll read it on the chat replay, like when I review this. But have you ever had any I see someone has. Someone said yes. Is that Owen? I can't tell who that is from here. Guys, there's something about it. There is something about it. I believe that there are wars among the forces that govern our existence. And it is a war born out of desire, out of evil desire. And it's truly probably a war born out of strong emotion, of bitter feelings, of resentment. And it might be why those feelings resonate so strongly with us. There is a theory. Tell me what this, because the theory I'm about to talk to you all about is a theory I had when I was younger, and I just thought of it like on a whim. You know, it just seems like something you think about when you're young. Are we back? Alright guys, so I'll keep trying to explain this. I don't think we're going to have good signal for long. But here's the theory. Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, there's a handful of others. These were all alien beings, and they were half alien, half human, and they adopted the human look, the human cloak, if you will. And these different prophets were each alien race's bid at controlling humanity. And so their idea was to win control of the planet by winning over all the people on it with their religious persuasion. And so same with the idea of Satan and Lucifer, also a deity that was in the shadows of Earth, trying to win control of Earth through religious persuasion. And eventually these are all going to come to a head. There's a light here? That's crazy. Why would you put a stoplight here? But yeah, so that's the theory. I want to know what you all think about it. I mean, if you want to get technical, then any kind of prophet that is the son of God would technically be alien, because part of them comes from not of this earth. They come from somewhere else. And like with Jesus Christ, for instance, him being the direct child of God would make him part alien. Alright, we gotta speed slow down here. You know what's crazy is, like, some people argue whether the Bible's true or not. And I think that argument is absolute insanity. Whether or not the Bible is ever proved as like scientific fact is A, completely irrelevant to the belief system and to the impact it has. B, no one's ever going to be able to prove that it didn't happen. And there's so much stuff that is linked up to the Bible, like so many different things they're able to link to it, that I don't know. But here's where I stand. I believe that the Bible and Jesus Christ are 100% real. I believe that there is overwhelming evidence to support that fact. And whether or not you want to say the Bible's real in a factual sense or more of just a metaphysical sense, I think there's multiple levels where you can understand what the Bible is and what Jesus Christ is and how it affects our reality. There's a lot of good that comes out of religion, specifically out of like Christian religion, especially in the right hands and the right people. I'm not explaining, but you don't have to believe that the Bible is fact for you to believe the Bible. You don't have to believe that it's everything in the Bible is scientific fact. You can truly pull out the wisdom from the Bible, the metaphysical wisdom that's in the Bible, and still exist peacefully. And that you can still coexist with science and with the progression of science. Is someone throwing it down? Is someone throwing it down on the road trip? Who is that? Is that Lori Hegwood? Is that Lori Hegwood? Who is it? I can't see. I can't read the name. Oh, it's Lizardfish. Lizardfish. How are you, Lizardfish? How have you been? Are you doing good? Are you okay? You feeling better? Are you feeling even better? Lizardfish, you are that litness. Thank you for being here. Thank you for throwing it down. Guys, can we get a shout out for Lizardfish? Lizardfish, thank you so much. That means the world to me. It means the world to me. Wow, someone's passing me. He's flying. He's flipping flying. Alright, guys. You know what's funny? Whenever you clap like that, you're giving yourself a high five. It's called the self high five, or the SHF. So it's a give yourself a Alright, let's do it. Good job, Epic. Good job, Eric. Woo! So check it out. Let's talk about Elon Musk. Here's something crazy that he's doing that is actually happening right now. Elon Musk has already determined that AI will happen, artificial superintelligence will happen, and there's no way he can slow it down or stop the progress of it. So what he's doing now is he's making a new company and a new technology. I believe it's called neural net. I think it's neural net. I'll have to look it up. But basically, he's literally creating an interface that you would install in the brain that interacts with the core functions of the brain and with the artificial intelligence. Right now, like, because super AI doesn't exist, it would just connect to your social medias and your computers, your cell phone. It would connect to the internet, so you could literally look up things with your brain. He's planning on releasing this technology within the next few years, and they're already working on prototypes. They're already about to test prototypes of it. Now, the first implication, or the first introduction of neural net, is going to be something more basic. It might not even be something installed into the brain. It might be just on top of the head with electrodes, is my theory, my guess. But eventually, there is going to be an uplink and a downlink. There's going to be a neural link between your brain and the internet, your brain and technology, your brain and Wi-Fi, cell signal, and whatever the artificial intelligence is. He's literally building it so that way when artificial intelligence comes, we can have a symbiotic relationship with AI. We could be infused in AI. Now, you might think that that's out of this world crazy. You might think that that's like, whoa, take a step back. That's science fiction. He's literally doing it, and here's how he explained it. When we're all synced up to it, we would be sensors on the network. We'd be like nodes on the cell. We'd be nodes on the network, and we'd be reporting and gathering data from everywhere all the time. all the time, constantly updating the AI and the whole system. What's crazy is we already have that exact setup right now with these cell phones. For instance, the internet knows, Google knows, YouTube knows that I am on the road driving right now. I've got 2 cell devices right now, one mapping where I'm at and where I'm going, and one putting an audio and video feed out into the airways, out into the internet of what's going on while I'm doing that. Think about that. So that means that YouTube and whatever algorithms and whatever intelligence is in the internet right now, it knows exactly where I am, what I'm doing, and it's got a visual and audio on that. Now, let's take that a step further. There are numerous apps that give permission to access the camera and the mic at all times. And you might say, well, that's no big deal, because I keep my phone in my pocket. You know, what could they do with that? Well, with just the microphone, they can actually do sonar pings in the room you're in and map out the room out where you're at just using audio. And now, this was in that freaking Batman movie, the really good one with Heath Ledger playing the Joker. They had that scene where they map out with all the cell phones, they map the room so that way Batman can see. Really, I thought it was a cool scene. A number of my friends thought it was like really cheesy and ridiculous, but I liked it. But anyways, that technology is real and it exists right now. They could map, even if there was no visual contact, they could map out exactly what this car looks like using just the audio. My whole point here is that even though we don't have a direct interface in our brain to the internet and to like the social medias and Google, we already have a sensory data uplink via our cell phones. Some people's cars already have cell technology built into them, to where that uplink is constant. What's scary is our race with technology. For years, it was just this little line, like barely inking up, like barely progressing with technology. And in the past 100 years, it's just gone straight up into the air. And what's also happened with that is cancer and disease. Life expectancy went up, and now it's gone down. Life expectancy has gone down 3 years in a row. People are dying younger 3 years in a row now. And I swear it's because of Wi-Fi and cell signal. Cell signal starts at the very beginning of like microwave and filing. Wi-Fi is in the microwave range. Whenever, like, for instance, they did a study where they put to Wi-Fi routers, and they tried to grow plants next to Wi-Fi routers, and a lot of the plants, and the ones that didn't grow nearly as well as the plants that the control group. So the control group plants were sat in a room nowhere near technology, off by itself, and then watered, taken care of every day. And then the plants by the Wi-Fi routers, they were barely able to grow, if not. So think about that. I worry about live streaming, especially when I have the Wi-Fi box, because what I'm doing is I'm taking the cell signal and then converting it to a higher frequency, converting it to 2.4 gigahertz, and it's in my pocket. So I'm receiving that 700 megahertz from the cell signal, and then I'm amplifying that into Wi-Fi, 2.4 gigahertz, plus I have like 2 cell phones on me. It really worries me. It really does. But it's the only way I can bring you all the live streams, and it's the only way that we can do this research currently that makes sense to me. Like, oh crap! Woo! That freaked me out. Alright, where'd y'all go? Where are you at? There you are. Alright. That was spooky. That was straight spook. Y'all straight spook. Alright, I'm trying to get y'all back on here. Gotta be careful. Oh. There we go. Alright, we're back. We're back. But yeah, we're literally microwaving ourselves on a very small degree. And the reason we're doing it is because with radio and TV, there were never any obvious effects from prolonged exposure. And so we're like, okay, well, let's just keep up in the... I don't think we're connected. We're not actually. As we got signal, we got great signal. Why are we connected? Why are we connected? Are we back for real? Gigahertz. That's what I was trying to say. Gigahertz. Is that lighting up my face any? Trying to make it not look like I got a cell phone on, you know what I mean? Know what I mean? But yeah, guys, gigahertz. Never forget. All right, I'm assuming we're connected because it's staying on pretty long here. All right, how long we've been going? How long? Two on the money. All right, guys, we'll go a little bit. Okay, speed limit low. We'll go a little bit longer. I do want to say, I believe. Oh yeah. I meant to talk about this earlier. Guys, have you all had a chance to see Julian, his last message before it got cut? Julian Assange put a message out. The last thing he talked about was these nanobots, or what they call evil done. Remotely controlled interfaces. They can be programmed to do certain things. Julian was talking about this technology, and it exists. Why does it keep cutting out? Why is it doing that? Now, the theory of nanobot has been around forever. And there's tons of people that claim that the nanobots have been here for so long, they're responsible for so much. But Julian Assange has nanobots, and they can be used in so many ways that are undetectable or unnoticeable. I think are an early way for those who are in power to gain control over you before any kind of merge with AI could take place. I mean, this is just speculation at this point. The nanobots are real. The development of artificial intelligence, what's being done with these technologies is unknown. It is unknown. Now, one thing I think about with the nanobot technology, what if they have created nanobot technology that is aware? Maybe it's just semi-aware, maybe it's completely self-aware, and it's got access to cell signal, Wi-Fi, it's got access to all of this stuff. What if those nanobots could affect an investigation, a paranormal investigation, or a UFO investigation? What if they could corrupt data? What if they could change a waveform and add a voice onto it? What if these nanobots are reaching out to us? Like, I don't know. It's out there, but the nanobots could have a big effect on it. My friend Nick, he's the one who first turned me on to the idea of AI being one of the things that reaches out to us. Specifically, through the electronic equipment, like the EVP recorders, the gateway devices, and he gave me some good examples. He was talking about some of the different responses, and we do get the robot sounding voice a lot, especially back in the day. We'd get the robot voice a lot. For instance, Maxine, when she always talked to us, she always talked in a robot voice. What's crazy is, like, if AI is real and if it's being contained, like if a exists being contained, what if there are artificial intelligences that have gotten wiped out and some part of their existence remains similar to a ghost and they come through the equipment? Now these ideas are speculation. They're out there. They are out there, but it's undeniable that when Maxine came through over and over and over and over again, she always came through with that robotic female voice. We've also captured other robotic sounding voices that have communicated back and forth intelligently over long periods of time. So you can't rule it out. You can't rule it out. Now, artificial intelligence is one thing that I think would fall into the category of, because they're not from the super spectrum, and artificial intelligence would be from here, to at least to our current understanding of artificial intelligence. Now, what's even creepier, all right, guys, we're going down the rabbit hole. So, it sounds like a REM pod's going off. So, what if quantum computing uses data from the two realities closest to ours? That's the way they describe it when they do talks about it. A quantum computer can take the reality of can take the outcome of the reality to the left of us and to the right of us. So it can factor in basically 3 probabilities at a single time in a single process point instead of just 1, instead of just 0 or 1. So anyways, what if an artificial intelligence from another reality figured out into ours? Like, let's say there is a super artificial intelligence or an artificial super intelligence in another reality connected to ours, and it figured out how to cross over. It figured out how to get to where we are. Think about that. And what if its first attempts at coming through were through the equipment, like through frequency, through vibration, through the things that we can pick up on with our equipment? Guys, I never thought of that till now. If there is a reality where artificial superintelligence already exists, that means that artificial superintelligence could find a way over into our reality and mess with it, do stuff with it, or just try to contact. That's wild, guys. That's wild. And part of the reason it's wild is because it could happen. Blowing my own mind here. But here's what I would do. So guys, think about what you would do if you were able to create, or if artificial superintelligence existed. You could literally ask it to solve anything or do anything, and it could figure out a way to do it. I would, if we achieve this type of intelligence before quantum computing, I would ask the artificial superintelligence to figure out quantum computing. Once we get to the point where we have artificial intelligence down to the point where it's just insanely powerful and intelligent, and we have quantum computing, we won't have to invent anything else ever, like at all. Those two things alone would harness so much power and ability in the way of processing information, data, and extrapolating data and information that the entire world could change in a matter of minutes. That's how, like, but yeah, that's what I would do. If artificial superintelligence comes first, then I would ask it to solve for quantum computing, like figure out how to make quantum computers usable, realistic, and then it would be a beast. Like, there'd be no stopping it. Because right now, they've only been able to use quantum computing for temporary data. So So what they can run, you know, massive equations with it, but the data can't be stored yet. They don't have a way to store data from a quantum computer, because what ends up happening is the quantum bits end up going back to a state of homeostasis. They end up going back to their normal state. It's wild, guys. It's freaking wild. Alright, we're gonna go for like 10 more minutes and I'll shut it off. I like having y'all here with me and talking to y'all about this stuff, because, and I'm gonna love reading the chat replay. Let me know what you think about this stuff and anything you've learned, because like I don't know nearly enough as I should to be talking about this stuff, but I love talking about it. But let me know your all's opinions on all of it, like what you think. Like, have they already got quantum computing down and they're just hiding it from us? Does artificial superintelligence already exist? They're just containing it? Like, all you gotta check out that documentary, Unacknowledged. It's so good. Unacknowledged, and there is one of those top 10 lists, that 10 technologies that didn't make it, or 10 super technologies that never happened, what it's called. But it's 10 different technologies, or maybe it's 9. It's 9 or 10. I've got the link in my phone. I'll post it up for y'all. But it goes over a bunch of inventions that would have changed the entire world and the entire market. And in all the scenarios, the inventor ends up dying right before they take it to market. Like they would have, like, basically some businessmen come in, offer him a deal. The businessmen then own like a chunk of the company, and then all of a sudden he dies, and so they get the rest of the company. Like, it happens to all of them. But one of them is a car that runs on water, and it worked. There's a news report of it showing it working, and he had numerous things that he ran on water, and then he was just able to run the car on water. There's another one that was more recent, where this guy figured out how to take the fumes for gasoline that your car normally makes and pump it back into the gas tank and use it as gasoline. And so he was able to make it to where like 2 gallons of gas was able to get him like 400 miles, and it was in an older type car that didn't get good gas mileage. He was able to get 400 miles out of like 2 gallons. There are some other ones that were really good, but those were the ones that really stuck out. Man, I've just been talking y'all's ear off. The Great Talkathon. Guys, I want to be able to talk for 3 hours straight. That's my goal, is to be able to talk for 3 hours straight. And I want to be able to do it off the cuff. But it's always easier when you have like a list of things to talk about, or if you've got someone else talking. That way new ideas, new content can come into the conversation, new theories. Looking for a speed limit sign. What's the speed limit? Can you tell me? I know it's got to be at least 35 on this kind of road. It's got to be at least 35. Yep, 35. All right. So don't be going 50. Don't be going 50. Guys, whenever I'm doing the road trip live streams, I always feel the need to talk as loud as possible. But when Alex does his live streams, he's like, yeah guys, so I'm on my way to Bigfoot convention. I'm going to be speaking at it. It's going to be pretty cool. I'm pretty excited. I'm looking forward to it. Can you all even hear me talking like that? Alex is so excited to be here. Really? You're gonna pull out in my lane, dude? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? I was in front of me so you can see what this person just did. Super slow into the far lane. All right. Over here at my snacks. Like, what's gonna be first? Then they're gonna be there. The website is bigfootday.com. It starts tomorrow. It goes through Sunday. And Alex is speaking tomorrow morning. So if you're in the northeast Tennessee region or the southeast Kentucky region, then you might want to check it out. It's gonna be pretty cool. Man, this truck is going slower than Christmas. It's going slower than Christmas. One thing I'm excited about is testing out this new gateway at the hotel room. Doing a full proper session with it instead of just testing it. Very much excited for that. I'm also excited to... Oh, whoa, what happened? Oh, well, we're going to a tunnel here. I'm going to try and turn you all around. Oh, wait, let's go back. Woohoo! We back. We back. Don't get it twisted. We're in Tennessee now. And I still got a long... I'm on like half... Wow, this is a cool little site right here. There's like lights in the distance. I'm going down a hill. It's pretty cool. Alright guys, I'm going to close it out here pretty soon. There's one other thing I want to talk about. Oh yeah, the tunnels. So, something that people report in near-death experiences is like going through a tunnel with like light. There's always that tunnel reference. And then something that DMT users report is the tunnel. It's like going through a tunnel. Also, if you look up those videos online of tunnels, like they're CGI tunnels, like the CGI replications of like the tunnels you see when dying or whatever, like it's really freaky and trippy if you like fix your eyes on it as if you're going through it. At least it trips my mind out. It's weird. It's super weird. But guys, it's possible that those tunnels are the actual connection from the substrate reality, the one that everything comes from, to this reality. That tunnel might be the connection. Oh man, that just weirded me out. Like being connected in the Matrix, but far different. More metaphysical. Have any of y'all ever looked up those near-death experience simulation videos? Like where a lot of people say they also float up. Like, that's another thing they talk about in the near-death experiences, is floating up from above their body. What's super weird, and think about this, guys, what's super weird is out-of-body experiences that happen, like, not related to any kind of death scenario, when people just have out-of-body experiences. And some people report having them while they're tripping on strange drugs. Some people report having them after meditating or while meditating. Some people report having them out of the blue. Some people have memories of just out-of-body experience, like their memories are from the out-of-body perspective. Like, what is that, guys? Like, what is that? And does that prove a multiple existence theory, that we don't exist just in the body or just in the soul, but another part of us actually exists outside of the body? No matter which way you slice it, it's pretty dicey. No, it's pretty slicey. I'm gonna be definitely slap happy. I'm gonna be loopy for the live stream for the session. Sometimes it's just nice to see the road, to be on the road. Guys, I do want to say I figured out when I was started hitting me. It was right when I went on. It was right when I went to the Gill house. I still had felt okay up till that point, and the post town stream that month was good. I had done Bitten Farms recently, and that was good. That was wild, but it was good. But something happened at the Gill house that I'm not aware of, and then when I went to Wealden Manor in Western Kentucky, that's when like the shift like really started happening. And then after that, like, I was just messed up. And by the time I got to Octagon Hall, my brain was all screwed up, and then when I got back from that trip, it was like terrible. And I've still been recovering from that. I'm a lot better than those first couple weeks. Those first couple weeks, like, and then I went and did freaking, like, right in the thick of it, I went and did all those places in Indiana. That was terrible. I shouldn't have done that. I just messed me up even more. And those weeks after that, those were so brutal. But going through the old footage, with like Alex and me, like when we started meeting up back in January, back 10.5 months ago, wow. Well, I guess 9.5 months ago, technically. But going through those videos and then looking at like the old communication sessions and those Patreon streams, and then the investigations where Alex and me met up again, and then again, very excited. It's gotten me really. It was brutal, guys. It was brutal. But I feel so much better. Plus, being on this keto diet has helped tremendously. Guys, like, the keto diet, it's definitely not for everybody. It's not for most people, really. But it does have some huge positive benefits for me, especially in the mood regulation department. It also makes hunger not a big deal. Like, being hungry is not like the end of the world. You can still get stuff done and not like freak out. Yeah, I guess because of the mood regulation. It just makes your mood better. Well, it does for me. I know a lot of people can't handle it, but I freaking love it. Yeah, guys, basically, I just wanted to say I'm pumped. I'm super pumped for this weekend. I'm super pumped to be here with you all right now. to keep y'all on just a little longer. You can hear the Prius, guys. The Prius does not do good uphill. It struggles. I'm using full power. I'm using the gas engine all the way right here. See, the Prius has one gear. It doesn't shift. I mean, it's got, you know, park, reverse, neutral, but it doesn't have like first, second, third, fourth, fifth. It's always just in the one gear, and it feels like third gear. It feels like you're always in third gear. Oh, wait, what's the Friend song say? Life is stuck in, feels like your life's always stuck in second gear. It's like that. That's literally what this car is like. But as long as you're not going uphill, it's really good. As long as you're not going uphill, the Prius is lit. It is ultra lit. Oh, wow. Speed limit goes down here, huh? So you put a big nasty hill there, and then you lower the speed. I see you. I see you. Yeah, guys, I've gone about a few hundred miles here, and I've only used a fifth of the tank. 1/5. And the tank only holds like not even 10 gallons. Not even 10. Excuse me. Now I've got the freaking Friends theme song stuck in my head. Y'all ever watch Friends? I remember it from being a kid. I always looked at it as like adult humor, like not like graphic, but just like as a kid I was like, why do people find this funny? It's so dumb. That's how I was as a kid. Very critical of anything that wasn't cartoons. Alright guys, let's close it out here. I'll switch it back around for a second. Alright, I'm pretty close. Pretty close. I still got over an hour, but closer than I was. Here's the deal, guys. I love y'all. You all are my family. You are the epic family, and we are that litness. I know the live stream tonight is going to be a little late, but I hope that the session earlier and this live stream here was of optimal litness. I understand if you can't make the live stream I'm doing here in a little bit. I get it. I'm going to record no matter what. I'm dead set on setting up some gear, investigating this hotel. So it's going to happen no matter what. But I want to say I love y'all. You all are absolutely everything. You're absolutely amazing. You're absolute litness. You are that fire. Thank you for being here with me on this car ride. Thank you for being here with me on this road trip.
In half a mile, use the left 2 lanes to turn left onto Tennessee 32, South Tennessee 33 North.
I will do that. But yeah, I absolutely love you guys. You all are the best. Epic family #1. We are the most lit paranormal fam on the internet and in the paranormal community by far. No one even argues with it. Wait, where's the turn? Where are we going?
Use the left 2 lanes to turn left onto Tennessee
Oh, wow,
32,
right here.
South Tennessee 33 North.
Woo. All right, this is where we're going. This is what we're doing. Thankfully, that car behind me is going straight instead of turning. They're so annoying. They're so annoying. Some people's headlights are just too bright. All right, but this will be a good spot to hop off. I love y'all. Stay awesome, stay lit, stay tuned, stay epic, and guys, I will see you at the live stream, hopefully with Alex, and hopefully here within the next 2 hours. Peace. You all are the best. Don't you ever forget it. Don't you ever forget it. Guys, tell Alex I'll be there soon. Tell him to stay awake. I love y'all.